Hello folks, this is a guide for the new floor 11 with the Corrosion debuff. I will be only using 4-star characters and weapons this time around, and I will show all 8 character stats and weapons at the end of the video. I will be commenting over the kill footage and give tips for every chamber. Any team comp will work as long as you have one healer, but I suggest having a physical DPS on the first team, which will help out chamber 3, and some Hydro characters on the second team, which will help with the Abyss Mage and Pyro Slimes. The first half also has a Pyro Gunner Fatui, but with a physical DPS, you should be able to kill it fast enough before it pulls up its shield. For Chamber 1 first half, it's pretty basic, you just have Healy Churros. You should focus on the Muter Churro first since it has the Pyro Aura that will damage you, and if you add that with the Corrosion debuff, it's gonna start hurting. With this team, my MVP is obviously Razor, and Fischl is mainly just there for the electro bonus and more energy, and to help provide a little bit of damage. I technically have 2 healers on this floor, but I don't really need Diona. Bennett himself is good enough. Just keep an eye on your health and heal up when you get low. The Corrosion debuff will slowly lower your health as you kill enemies, but you do have 4 minutes to clear the chambers 1 and 2, so you can kinda pause by leaving the last enemy of each wave alive to get more energy and heal back up. Try to get as much energy as you can before going to the next floor, so it'll make the beginning of the next part easier. You don't have to worry about your health too much by the end, since you don't take corrosion damage when you start a floor anyway. For the second half, this is where your Hydro units come in play. There will be a Pyro Abyss Mage every wave, and Hydro takes care of the shields the fastest. Electro and Cryo is okay, but it's definitely not as fast as Hydro. So for my team on the second half, I have another physical main DPS, which is Rosaria, and then I have Xingqiu and Xiangling to do some nice off-field damage with their burst. My Barbara is only level 60, but I stacked as much HP on her as I can to get more healing. It was actually easier to keep the second team alive than the first team. Pretty much the same general tip on this one since the enemies are pretty easy. Just keep an eye on your health and make sure you're not too low going into the next wave, and try to get as much energy as you can before finishing off the last enemy. For Chamber 2, you might have noticed my healers are at low health, but it doesn't matter since you don't take corrosion damage at the start. Since I made sure to have their burst ready from the previous floor, I can just heal up with the burst. For each wave here, you want to focus on the Pyro Fatui first since it has the Pyro Aura. It will also put up a shield if you don't kill it in time, and that shield is pretty annoying if you don't have a Hydro unit. Like all the Fatuis and Mage enemies, they are pretty weak to physical attack, so that's why I recommend using a physical carry on this half. After killing the Fatui, go go and focus on the range units since the melees will come to you anyways. You can always leave a unit alive to get some breathing room to heal up. For the second half, we have one of the elite samurais, but they only come one at a time, so you don't have to worry about them healing up and getting immune to CCs. Because of that, you can freeze them and constantly hit them with overload to keep them stunned. Once again, you want to focus on the Pyro Aura unit first, and then clean up after. Just repeat this for all 3 waves. Use all your bursts and stuff on the samurai, and then use the other enemies to heal up and get your energy back. No need to rush because if you clear Chamber 2 within 4 minutes, you still get 3 stars. For the third chamber, things are changed up a little. One thing, the timer has reduced by 1 minute to get 3 stars. And when you start, I recommend killing the Sice mages first and leave the Fatui agent for last. That's because killing all the little flies will add more stacks to your corrosion debuff. Of the 2 Sice mages, go for the ice one first, since it can pull up a shield. If you focus it on the beginning before it pulls up a shield, you will save a bit of time. This is also why I recommend having a Pyro unit, since it will destroy the shield if she gets one up. And since this entire first half is all mages and Fatuis, they are weak against physical, and once again, that's why I brought in a physical main DPS. There are only 2 waves this time instead of 3, so just use whatever you have to take them down. Since this is the last floor, you don't have to worry about recharging your energy and saving up. If you are doing bad on time, you can always just retry the chamber. The second half of the third chamber is actually pretty easy. You have 3 Pyro Slimes, which are pretty much a joke at this point, and a Geo Bishop. When this Geo Bishop gets below 50% health, it will imbue itself with Pyro, so that's why having a Cryo or Hydro unit is good on this floor. You should focus on the Geo Bishop since it has more health and the slimes will slowly jump towards you anyways. Just do your best and see how many stars you can get. The Corrosion debuff was annoying at first, but after playing with it for a while, it's not that bad. And I know MiHoYo pretty much uses Spiral Abyss to promote the new 5-star characters, so it makes sense they are trying to encourage having healers on this new Spiral Abyss since Kokomi is a healer, but she can also pack a punch herself. Anyways, if you continue watching or just skip to the end, you'll see my character stats and weapons. Alright, so let's look at the characters I used. I have Razor with a level 80 prototype Archaic at Refinement 3. He's using 4-piece Gladiator, and he has a decent amount of crit rate and damage. Nothing crazy, but it's still a good amount. Next up, we have Rosaria, who is using the Crescent Pike since she's a physical DPS this time around. I'm using 4-piece Pale Flame to boost the physical. And her crit rate is kinda low, but I didn't really have that good 4-piece Pale Flame on this account since I don't have Eula here. Next up, I have Fisho, which was just a filler character doing some damage. Ignore this horrendous crit ratio. I mainly picked her because she's an easy to use off-field DPS. For Xingqiu, I have an okay crit ratio and very good energy recharge. Of course, I have Sacrificial Sword on him since that's his best weapon, and I'm using Hybrid 2 pieces since I'm still trying to farm a good 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. Xiangling is just there for another burst support, mediocre crit ratios. She has the Deathmatch, but Dragon's Bane or mostly any other weapon will work. And for artifacts, I have 2-piece Wanderers and 2-piece Gladiator because they have good substats. Next up, we have Barbara. She is just stacked up on HP and a decent amount of energy recharge. I give her the Thrilling Tail since it gives HP and a buff. And she is using 4-piece Maidens to help with the healing. And for Diona, I did something similar. A lot of HP and energy recharge to maximize her shield and healing. Of course, the Sacrificial Bow since that's her best weapon. And for artifacts, it's a Tenacity and Maiden Hybrid. And I think I'm missing one more here. Oh, Bennett. Let's not forget about him. My Bennett is full support, so it's just all HP and energy recharge. I don't have him doing damage on my team. And for the weapons, it's one of the best 4-star swords, the Festering Desire. And for artifacts, I have 4-piece Noblesse to stack the buff. Thanks for watching, hope this helps and have fun out there, traveler.